Welcome to StarWatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
The day Wang Yibo broke down in tears, and the truth behind his grief will leave you breathless. In the dazzling world of Chinese entertainment, where perfection is polished and emotions are carefully edited, May 17, 2025, shattered the illusion. For the first time in years, Wang Yibo, the cool, calculated star of being a hero and loyal, openly wept in public. Beside him stood his longtime peer, Xiao Zhan, the soulful actor from The Untamed and The Oath of Love, who could barely hold back his own tears. But what could bring two of China's biggest stars to such raw public heartbreak? The answer lies in the life and quiet passing of a woman many never knew existed. Ju Yuanyuan, the beloved former model, mentor, and the hidden emotional pillar behind two of C Entertainment's most radiant stars. This is not just a story of loss. This is a story of family beyond blood, of sacrifices hidden from the cameras, and of love that never made it to the headlines, until now, when emotions erupted in a world trained to hide them. May 17, 2025, a date that etched itself into the soul of a nation. At first glance, it seemed like any other somber funeral in Beijing. An elegant venue, a black sea of celebrities, white chrysanthemums carefully laid before a portrait. But then the camera lenses caught something no one expected. Wang Yibo, the untouchable icon of Chinese pop culture, a man known for his unreadable expressions and razor-sharp precision, was crying. Not the kind of discreet, media-trained tears celebrities sometimes shed, but real uncontrollable sobs that made his shoulders quake. Standing just a breath away, Xiao Zhan, the charming actor adored for his warmth and unbreakable smile, looked utterly shattered. His eyes, swollen and red, spoke volumes about nights without sleep and grief too large to contain. Together, they stood in silence in front of Zhu Yuanyuan's altar. No script, no pretense, just raw, unfiltered sorrow. In that moment, the glittering facade of stardom cracked, and what poured through was something heartbreakingly human. Across the internet, the footage went viral within minutes. Fans were stunned. News anchors paused mid-segment. Even those unfamiliar with the entertainment world couldn't look away. Because it wasn't just about fame anymore, it was about love, about loss, about two men revealing a pain that millions knew but rarely saw mirrored by those they idolized. This wasn't just another farewell. It was a moment that would change how an entire generation saw its heroes, not as gods but as grieving sons. Not just a fashion icon, but the silent force behind two of China's brightest stars. Ju Yuanyuan. To the public, she was a vision of timeless beauty. The regal supermodel of the 90s who walked international runways in Milan, Tokyo, and Shanghai with unmatched grace. But for those who truly knew her, Ju wasn't just a pretty face in a magazine spread. She was the gentle heartbeat behind some of the industry's brightest lights. She had no official title in today's cutthroat entertainment world, no massive social media following, no recent award-winning role. And yet, when she walked into a room, even the most seasoned executives stood up a little straighter. Why? Because Zhu Yuanyuan represented something almost extinct in showbiz: unshakable integrity and maternal warmth. Industry insiders called her Miss Angel, not just for her kindness, but because she had an uncanny gift of sensing when someone was falling apart behind the scenes. And when Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan were at the most fragile points in their early careers, it was Zhu who stepped in, not as a manager, not as a brand strategist, but as a surrogate mother. She didn't care about contracts or clout. She cared if they ate, if they slept, if they were surviving the fame machine with their sanity intact. She gave them silence when the world was too loud, gave them clarity when rumors clouded everything, and most of all, she gave them home. To lose someone like that isn't just losing a mentor, it's losing the person who made it possible to keep going when the lights went out. And that's why when she left this world, it felt like a piece of theirs went with her. Behind the glamour, they became her guardians. In silence, they carried her pain. For 2 long years, Zhu Yuanyuan was at war. Not with fame, not with scandal, not even with the brutal pace of an unforgiving industry, but with a silent killer growing inside her, stage 4 stomach cancer, a diagnosis that would have crumbled most. But Zhu didn't tell the world. She didn't want pity nor headlines. She wanted peace. Only two people knew the truth. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan. In a world where secrets leak faster than light, this one never did. Because these two men guarded it like sacred ground. They were no longer just her protégés, they were her protectors. While fans gushed over their latest dramas, like Wang Yibo's gripping performance in Being a Hero or Xiao Zhan's elegant depth in The Longest Promise, the two stars were living double lives. Between rehearsals and film sets, they took quiet turns sitting by her hospital bed. They memorized medication schedules like scripts. They held her hand through grueling chemo sessions. Sometimes they cried, but never in front of her. Wang Yibo turned down a major film overseas. Xiao Zhan refused a global brand campaign, not out of strategy but because they chose presence over prestige. And Ju, brave as ever, continued to smile, whispering words of encouragement to them, even when her own voice trembled with fatigue. Nurses described how she lit up every time they entered her room, how the atmosphere shifted when her boys were near. One even said, she didn't just look at them, she looked through them, like a mother watching her sons become men. It was a chapter hidden from the cameras, a bond deeper than fandoms could guess, a story that for too long remained unwritten, until now. Some goodbyes echo forever. It happened quietly. There was no spotlight, no press conference, no final Instagram post. Just the sterile hum of a hospital room in Beijing, the gentle rustle of linen sheets, and two young men kneeling at the side of a woman who had once taught them how to stand tall. Ju Yuanyuan was fading, her breathing shallow, her once brilliant eyes dim, but still holding a fierce, unwavering light as she looked at Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan one last time. A nurse later described the moment in a trembling voice. She reached for their hands, held them like they were her own flesh and blood. She didn't say much, but every word felt like it carried her soul. Her final wish was heartbreakingly simple. Promise me, no matter where this road takes you, you won't let go of each other. Be each other's anchor when I'm no longer here. Neither spoke. They couldn't. Tears fell freely. And in that suspended moment, beyond fame, beyond grief, a vow was made in silence. The next morning, Ju Yuanyuan slipped away. The news broke before noon. Within hours, Weibo was overwhelmed. Hashtags bearing her name hit millions of searches. But it wasn't just celebrities sending tributes. It was ordinary people. Students, nurses, single mothers, all sharing what Ju meant to them. Clips resurfaced of her kindness backstage at fashion shows. Interviews where she deflected praise to lift others. A viral photo of her handing a water bottle to a rookie actor mid-panic attack. But what touched everyone the most was that final image. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, black suits clinging to rain-soaked frames, standing hand in hand at her memorial. Not as superstars, but as two grieving sons who had just lost their guiding light. The public didn't just mourn Ju Yuanyuan. They mourned the bond, the purity, the love, something so rare it felt almost sacred. And in that grief, strangers became a family, united not by fame but by feeling. When tears fell from idols, the world looked up and saw itself. The news of Zhu Yuanyuan's passing spread like wildfire. But it wasn't the announcement that broke the internet. It was the raw, rain-soaked image of Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan standing together in silent grief. Eyes red, shoulders trembling, hands clenched around white chrysanthemums as if they were holding on to her memory itself. That image alone was enough to fracture the glittering wall between celebrity and citizen. By midnight, hashtags like #farewell Zhu Yuanyuan, #Wang Yibo tears, and #Xiao Zhan silent cry had dominated Weibo, Douyin, and even international platforms like X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But this wasn't a frenzy of gossip. It was a digital memorial. Fans didn't just repost, they wrote eulogies. Strangers who had never heard Zhu Yuanyuan's name watched hours of tribute videos just to understand why these two men, their idols, were brought to their knees. Fan artists sketched portraits of the three, smiling together behind the scenes of old shoots. Writers crafted poems. Editors created short films of her legacy intertwined with Yibo and Zhan's most vulnerable moments. Live streams of candlelit vigils ran for days. One comment liked over 300,000 times read, "They taught us how to shine, but today they're teaching us how to cry, and how to love, even when it hurts." Suddenly, Wang Yibo wasn't just the dancer with precision, and Xiao Zhan wasn't just the idol with the golden smile. They had become symbols of emotional courage, of loyalty, of what it means to stand by someone, even when it costs everything. Psychologists began citing their vulnerability in talks about toxic masculinity. School counselors played clips in classrooms to start conversations about grief and support. Even traditional media, once obsessed with scandals and metrics, began exploring the emotional weight of mentorship in high-pressure industries. In one quiet moment of mourning, these two men shattered a cultural wall, and in doing so gave their fans permission to feel, to grieve, and most importantly, to heal. They were no longer just stars. They were mirrors, reflecting the parts of us we often hide. Some stars burn so bright, they light the way long after they're gone. Ju Yuanyuan may have left this world, but her presence lingers, not in headlines or red carpets, but in the quiet spaces between hearts, in the silent vows between two young men who once stood in her light. Her legacy isn't just her elegance on the runway or her acclaim on screen. It's the way she looked at people and saw their soul. It's in the strength she passed on to Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, not through contracts or fame, but through simple unwavering love. In her they didn't find a mentor, they found home. And in the darkest hour of her absence they became her voice, not by speaking but by feeling so deeply, so publicly, that millions were moved to tears. This story, one of loss, loyalty, and silent resilience, transcends the realm of entertainment. It is a reminder that beneath the makeup, the costumes, the headlines, every icon is a human being. Every performer a son or daughter of someone's guidance and grace. Zhu Yuanyuan may have been known as Miss Angel in the fashion world, but now she's remembered as the woman who raised two stars, not to shine for themselves, but to light the path for others. And in doing so, she became immortal. If this story moved you, if even one tear welled in your eye or one moment made your heart beat a little harder, we ask you to keep this legacy alive. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more true stories behind the faces you thought you knew. Drop us a comment below. What did Zhu Yuanyuan's story mean to you? Have you ever had a Miss Angel in your life? Let's create a space where stories like this aren't forgotten, where love, grief, and loyalty still matter more than views or fame. This has been a tribute not just to an actress, but to the human spirit behind every stage curtain. Thank you for watching. And remember, some people leave the world quietly, but their love echoes forever. Subscribe, comment your story, turn on notifications for more emotional storytelling from the heart of Chinese entertainment.